Alright guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and do not forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. I'm going to read a little quote by Deontay Wilder. If he is ready, I am ready. Like I said, he got to be fair. It's got to be right down, and that is the thing about it. They thought they were going to be the only people, and everybody has to abide by their rules and rotate around them. But we had to show them. I had to grab my career and I had to go and do my own thing, and that's what I'm doing. We got enough fighters lined up to go for the next 2 years. We got a lot of things going. And then we got a deal up in England. So don't be surprised to see me up in England doing our thing on Fox and stuff like that as well. So that is what Deontay Wilder said. Two things stood out in this little piece. He was talking about AJ, Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn. Talking about, of course, that he needs exactly 50-50 split or he's not going to be facing AJ at all. But the last quote are the two things that stood out to me. He says, we got enough fighters lined up to go for the next 2 years. We got a lot of things going. And then he talks about that he has a deal in England, and don't be surprised to see him up in England. So is he talking about, when he says England, is he talking about fighting Tyson Fury in England? Is he talking about fighting Anthony Joshua in England? Because if he's going to be fighting in England, the only two guys that people would probably be interested in him fighting in England would be obviously either Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, or maybe even Dillian Whyte. So that would be a good look if Deontay Wilder goes to England, no matter who he fights. But the other thing that stood out was he says he has a bunch of guys lined up for the next 2 years. What does he mean by that? He has a bunch of guys lined up for the next 2 years. What I think he means by that is, because he was talking about obviously Eddie Hearn, if he doesn't give him the 50-50 split, he'll just move on with his career. So what I'm thinking, what he means by that is, if Eddie Hearn doesn't give him the 50-50 split, he already has a bunch of guys lined up that he could defend his belt against for the next 2 years. So that's what Deontay Wilder is basically saying. At least that's what it comes across to me. That, listen, even if Eddie Hearn doesn't give me what I want, I'm going to move on, and I got a bunch of guys lined up. So he's talking about 2 years. So he doesn't care if 2 years fucking pass. He'll just keep defending his belt. And I told you guys a long time ago, May 2018, that Deontay Wilder is not going to be facing Anthony Joshua until 2020, the year 2020. And the more, and back then people made fun of me. They say, you don't know what you're talking about. They're gonna fight this year, 2018, and it looks like what I said is coming true, and it's getting closer and closer to that, because eventually it will be 2020. And Deontay Wilder's saying that he don't care if 2 years pass, and the fact that Deontay Wilder's now going around saying that if Eddie Hearn doesn't give him exactly what he wants, he's not gonna be facing Anthony Joshua. All these things, in my opinion, make me believe that these guys are really going to wait for a long time. This might be Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. all over again. You know, as long as these two stay undefeated, right? The only thing that could really fuck this fight is if either of these guys loses. Because if Wilder loses, he loses his belt. If Joshua loses, he loses his belts. And then that's going to drop the stock. That's going to drop the fan interest. Obviously, still hardcore boxing fans and many casual fans will still want to watch it. But it's not going to have the same luster. My big fear of this is if these guys keep stalling, if Deontay Wilder keeps stalling with the fact that he doesn't want to fight AJ unless he gets exactly what he is demanding, half of the purse split, then he's going to keep fighting and eventually he's going to lose. And then when he loses, everything's going to fuck up. Because now it's going to be even harder for him to get that fight. And then he might just never end up fighting Anthony Joshua. And I don't like this idea that he just doesn't even care and he's thinking about, like, man, I'll fight two guys in the future. I mean, I have a few guys to be fighting for the next 2 years. So he's already thinking about his other title defenses minus facing Anthony Joshua. If that thing falls apart. Basically, if Eddie Hearn doesn't give him that money, he's already thinking about what he's going to do in the next 2-3 years. So It's just some bullshit, man. The more time that passes, I just feel like these guys are just never gonna end up fighting because there's so many risks. So many things could happen to ruin this fight. Okay, Deontay Wilder's already ruining it by demanding exactly and just staying firm with that type of demand that he wants 50-50 split. And, you know, Deontay Wilder already got a gift draw against Tyson Fury. He might lose in the rematch. And if he loses, it's over. Like, this fight's just going to be killed. So I really hope that doesn't happen. I really want to see Wilder versus Joshua, but I just feel like the minute any of these guys lose, the fight is going to really die. Especially if Wilder lost, because I think if AJ lost, because AJ once said if he lost, he'll still want to fight Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury because they're in the same generation. But Wilder, he wouldn't want to fight them because Wilder wants 50-50 split to fight these guys. So if he were to lose, he wouldn't be... Eddie Hearn's not going to give him no 50-50 split for damn sure if he lost. Unless Wilder was really desperate. Like, let's say Wilder was broke. And then Eddie Hearn, and then he lost his belt. And then Eddie Hearn came to him and said, listen, I'll give you like I'll give you this amount to face Anthony Joshua for his titles. And if Wilder was like broke and desperate, then yeah, maybe he'll do it. But I don't know, man. I feel like the longer these guys wait, it's going to be worse. This fight, basically, the longer these guys wait, the more unlikely this big fight's gonna end up happening because these guys could either lose or I don't know, man. I just hope that Deontay Wilder gets to his senses, man. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and thanks for watching, guys.